Well, hello everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you to talk about some uh, severe and serious issues within the Black community. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody that we are in the midst of a fundraiser for the work we do in the community. For those of you who have followed us for years and you are aware of what we're doing, we need your support. For those of you who may be new to the channel and not real sure about what we do, there's a link to the organization's official website that will give you plenty to learn about and study and see what we've done literally for decades and what we've definitely been doing over the last 15 years. But we definitely need support, and the way that you can give and support the work we do is going to be at the top of the description box in whatever platform you're watching this on, or the post box, whatever you want to call it. Second, I'm going to start this out by answering a question that I've been getting a lot. A lot of people are concerned that I have switched the dynamic of the makeup of the channel to where I'm doing more personal development, more personal empowerment, motivational, inspirational things from my company, the Visionetics Institute, than I am on Black content. And they're asking why. Let me, and sort of what I'm going to talk to you about will back in and reinforce what I'm about to share with you. I think that it's important to understand that the people who champion the cause of Black people are people. We're human. What does that mean? It means that we have thresholds. There's only so much negativity we can take. There's only so much darkness we can experience. There is only so much of the negative things that are going on that we want to talk about in any given period of time. And then that comes this point where we need to refresh, we need to replenish, we need to revive. And then we are experiencing our own life challenges as we move through this thing. And sometimes we just don't feel like going into and talking about it. But I wake up every day and I have to deal with it because this is what I do. That's the other thing. I'm not just talking about what you see me talk about on here. Every day I wake up and I've got at least 3 clients that are dealing with mental illness. I got at least a couple that are dealing with incest from their past. I've got a few that are having suicidal ideations. I deal with this every day. I have to have a therapist because of what I deal with in the dark places I have to travel to help people. So the work that I do transcends what you see me doing in front of you. This is me communicating to you what I'm passionate about and what needs to happen and what I see. So when you see that, okay, it's an abundance of positivity, it's because at that point, that's what I feel is necessary. That's where I'm at any particular moment. But I'm about to talk to you now about something that has to be addressed. It's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I've been talking about, teaching about, writing about for years. And that is the need for us to be more focused on building stronger, more emotionally stable and prepared Black men. I've got 2 stories on my desk right now. One out of Atlanta, where somebody gets upset because it's too much mayo on their sandwich and shoots 2 females, 2 female workers. One dies. Domestic dispute in New Orleans. Man walks up boldly in broad daylight and shoots his woman, kills her. I refuse to watch these videos. I've seen so much of this over the years. About 5 years ago, I said, I'm not watching any more videos. After the Mike Brown thing, that was it. And I didn't see the Mike Brown thing, but that's probably where it started. But just watching the body lay out there for all that time. And I just stopped watching videos of people being killed. And I ask people to respect that when they're contacting me about stories. But In this, I have been talking about the fact that we are failing in preparing young Black men. We are not properly preparing them. We are not properly developing them. We can't look at the result without asking and being concerned about the cause. We can talk all day about the violence in the community. We can talk all day about intimate partner violence and intimate partner homicide, and that for Black women between the ages of 15 and 44, it is the second leading cause of death. We need to talk about it, but if we don't address the cause, if we don't go to the source of the problem, if we don't look at what needs to be done, we are just talking for the sake of talking. And I told you over 10 years ago when I first came to YouTube that I wasn't here to just talk to talk, that when I came to talk about a problem, I would also bring a suggested solution and ask for people to contribute and ask for to contribute their own ideas, to contribute their own thoughts, to be a part of providing solutions. I'm not one to sit up and whine, but I am one to say I'm concerned. I am one to say that this can't be what defines us as a people, our men killing our women. And don't get me wrong, this isn't me skirting around the fact that our men have target on their backs as well. It's me saying that we cannot be the cause of disdain, the cause of hurt, the cause of harm in our community. We are the protectors. That's our design. That's our responsibility. That's our calling. And when we don't properly prepare young Black males, and they are trying to find themselves, and they're trying to force themselves into a place and a position and have a space in a world that doesn't want them, and they don't have it, they're going to develop poor habits, poor behaviors. They're going to misunderstand the aggression that they start to develop in puberty when their testosterone levels go up. When we don't socialize them, they won't understand the responsibility to protect. When we don't socialize them, they won't understand the responsibility to build. When we don't socialize them, they won't understand the responsibility to heal. When we don't socialize them, they won't understand that they are the guardians of the gate. When we don't socialize them, they will go out and figure anything in this life that I got to do to feel respected. In my own warped sense of what I think respect is, I'll get it. I won't let anybody hurt me. I don't care who it is. Let's look at it in a more technical sense. Let's look at it from a more scientific perspective. Let's remove the emotions from it. For years, I have shown you that when you socialize males, regardless of race, they perform better in their social enclave, in their social culture. That's why you see rites of passage for Jewish boys, for Arab boys, even for Latinos. Why? Because in the socialization, they're developing an understanding of not only who they are, but what the responsibilities are that they will have to embrace as they move into manhood. They are given a space and a place and a purpose in the confines of their own culture. They are expected to do things a certain way. There's a certain way of performing, and they understand that when they don't perform, that the men in that circle are going to come to them and call them on it. They understand that there's a higher calling outside of self. And we are not doing that on a grand scale for our young boys. Most of them are growing up without men in the home. Most of them are growing up without manhood being effectively and properly modeled. Most of them are growing up without seeing what it means to respect and love a woman. So they don't know how. Many of them are growing up with mama issues for all different types of reasons. And what are we doing? We are not properly preparing them to go out into a world and be men in a world that's inherently hostile towards them in the first place. This isn't me sitting up and giving any excuses for the behavior that I am speaking of. I am appalled. I am disappointed. I am frustrated. I am hurt. I am flabbergasted. Why? Because there's an answer. I have been telling you this for years. We are going to have to create a universal rite of passage. We're going to have to create a universal way of socializing young Black males so young Black males know who they are. You will never do anything of any significance on a consistent level in this world if you don't know who you are. The very staple and foundation of excelling in this world is a sense of identity. Where's the sense of identity for young black males? All they see is the media presenting them as animals, the media presenting them as criminalized, the media presenting them as uh, drug-filled, uh, animalistic hostage takers. They got the community on siege, and that's what they see. What are we giving them? What is the standard we're setting for them? What are we calling them to do? We aren't. We're actually sitting up thinking that you just create them and turn them loose in some kind of way they find their way. We're failing black men. Those of you who are holding the line, those of you who have a love and a respect for our black women, we need to stand guard at the gate because our women aren't safe, our children aren't safe, and it's our young black boys who are killing them. We are literally unleashing terror on our daughters because we aren't doing what we need to do to ensure that our sons are prepared to love them, prepared to protect them, prepared to honor them. You shoot somebody because they put too much mayo on your sandwich. Can you imagine? See, I, I, I don't have the luxury of sitting up and hearing that and going, that's just evil. Oh my God, that's just evil. Are there just people out there that are just evil? Absolutely. There are people that literally just have a spirit to be dark. But most behavior can be defined and explained when you search back and you look into the lives. Somebody failed. Probably multiple people failed. And you end up with someone who doesn't have enough concern about themselves, because when he shoots them, he kills one, wounds the other, and destroys his life simultaneously, destroys the lives and alters the lives of numerous people within the family structure of everybody involved. Behind emotion, something that should not reign at the top of his level. Not that men don't experience emotion, but we cannot operate, make our decisions, and move based on it. But who's teaching them? Who's showing them the right way? Then we have the situation in New Orleans, caught on film. Somebody in their apartment or in their office or wherever they were shooting it from is looking out the window and filming this. Again, a black male filming this. And again, we have no reflex, no instinct to protect. Just, oh my God, look, he's about to shoot her. Let me film it. There are so many different things happening simultaneously. Social media, instant access, live reality happening instantaneously. You're getting it before the news can get it to you now. And there's all of these stories and realities being built in front of us. And we have very little control or say so because we refuse to invest in ourselves so that we can start to write the narrative, so we can start to correct and recapture who we are, so that we can discover the beauty of ourselves, so we can gain an identity within ourselves that produces who we really are and presents who we really are, so that we can put out a narrative to show who we are as a people. We are not, as a people, murderers. But that's all you're going to see from us, especially about our men. Why? Because they want more of our men to embrace the narrative. They want more of our men to embrace the identity that if you're going to really be considered a man, if you're going to really be considered strong, then you have to be violent. Now, every man needs to have the propensity for violence. Why? Because when it comes time to protect that which you are supposed to cover, you better be willing to put in the work. But we're not supposed to be hurting what we're supposed to be protecting. One of the things we teach young black boys in Black Men Lead, which is a rite of passage initiative, is the matter of fact, the first principle: a black man never causes harm to a black woman. We teach them that at a certain time in life, the female that's the same age You will start to outgrow her. You will become physically stronger. You will become physically bigger. You will develop a sense of aggression. That's that testosterone. Got you a little edgy, makes you want to react to certain things. That's not to turn on her. Your size, your strength, your aggression is to protect her. It's preparing you. I tell young men all the time, yes, you need to be a provider. But before you ever develop the capacity, you have already been gifted with the capacity to protect. The first thing you will ever be to a woman is her protector. Whether it's your sister, whether it's your mother, whether it's your grandmother, and at some point when you get old enough, your girlfriend, but whatever it is, that's going to be what you do. You protect the women in your periphery. You should not be the source of fear, the source of harm, or the source of death for the very thing you're meant to protect. But yet here we are, and every day we're hearing it. And maybe I wouldn't be so frustrated if I looked at this from a place and said, man, I don't know what to do. But thanks to Dr. Howard Stevenson, University of Pennsylvania, Dr. Joy DeGruy, University of Portland, Dr. Amos Wilson, legend, myself, Dr. Naeem Akbar, just to name a few. There's literally tons of empirical data that show simply socializing a young Black male reduces their proclivity for violence, reduces their risk of dropping out of school, reduces their risk of incarceration, um, reduces their risk of intimate partner violence or homicide, increases their risk of becoming a productive citizen, increases their chance of becoming a business owner and becoming financially viable within the community so that they can be a support system within the community. This is proven. This isn't some guess. This is why other groups thrive, because they don't simply unleash their boys and hope they find their way. And because we have 1.5 million Black men missing, obviously it's going to take men to touch boys that don't carry their DNA. We have moved so far away from the village mindset. Everybody's selfish. Everybody's thinking about what they can get, how they can get it, what they want. And we're falling apart. We are literally destroying ourselves. How many times have you heard me quote the African proverb, if there's no enemy on the inside, the enemy on the outside can do us no harm? We are vulnerable to white supremacy because we have not yet dealt with the enemy within. The moment that we do that, the moment that we stop allowing self-destructive behavior within our ranks, the moment we start operating by a code of conduct, the moment we start implementing protocols that serve a specific agenda, things will change. Sitting up typing, oh my God, it's not going to change it. Shaking my head, it's not going to change it. That's just evil. It's not going to change it. It's going to require us to apply ourselves to a solution. It's going to require us to invest ourselves in a solution. It's going to require us to be willing to put in the energy, the effort, the resources to make changes where changes are necessary. We have got to do better. To the families of the young ladies who lost their lives, both in Atlanta and New Orleans, and I'm sure it's so many other places that if we just polled, we would find people with a similar story, no matter where you're at. We have got to do better. But, you know, for the people asking, why aren't you doing more community? Because I'm tired. I need a break. I'm going to come back this week. I am going to be talking and touching on more topics about the community, but I just wanted to bless people with something positive, something that they can literally apply to their personal lives and see a difference. Sometimes you can't attack the big problem until you get to a place where you're strong. I've been fighting for a long time. I'm tired. I'm not done, not close to done, but I'm human. And you wake up to this stuff every day while you're fighting your own battles, while you're trying to hold your own head up. And the answers are there, and we won't step into it. We'll share, we'll like it. I mean, if it doesn't cost too much in the way of energy, effort, commitment, and money, we're good for it. When it calls for sacrifice, we get real thin, real fast, and we sit up, then we get on our high horse and we judge. That's horrible. That's terrible. Oh my God. Shaking my head. But what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? The thing is every time one of my daughters go out of the house, or every time one of my daughters is telling me about some new guy, I'm wondering, is this the guy that's got his stuff together? Or is this the guy that the moment that she tells him she's done, he's going to hurt her? Because it's becoming so darn common. Look, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. For those of you who want to be about something, we've got work to do. It's that simple. I'm tired of seeing babies. And to me, at 55, anybody under 30 are still babies. They haven't come close to discovering who they are yet. And they never will, because somebody took their life. We have to do better. For those of you who want to ride with me and support me, you know how to. The information is in the description box. Those who want to join forces with me, email me, reach out to me. Those who have solutions beyond what I've offered, my mind and my ears are wide open. I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you I've spent 30 plus years conducting scientific research and observations, working with kids, working with adults, working with families, sharing it. And I know what works, and I know how to get there. But we are going to have to do it on a much grander scale if we're going to stem the tide of this destructive force that's moving into our community at an unparalleled and unprecedented rate. This is real. You can look at it and think it's going to fix itself. It's not. It's getting worse. Track it and you'll see it's getting worse. And we're sitting around thinking that we're all good. None of us are untouchable in this. We just lost a very close family friend, pastor, pulling out of the car wash, and somebody felt like he cut him off, killed him. 58 years old. This is crazy. But on that note, look, I'm gonna get out of here. I could talk about this all day, and it's doing nothing but bringing me down. We've got work to do. Those of you who are ready to be about it, let's make it happen. And I have a lot more to share with you over the course of the remainder of this week, and I will. For those who have felt like I haven't really been touching issues in the Black community, I apologize. I just needed a break. On that note, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon.